You know America has been waiting for y'all to come back to us. How is everything going?
Everything's going pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, let's clear something up, because you know I've been getting a rundown on the street. Everybody seems to think that y'all are either girlfriend or boyfriend, or cousins, or friends. Let's just get the record straight.
I better go get me a white Jeep.
Well, no, we're not related at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. He's my best friend.
Yeah, cool.
Now, who found who?
In the whole wide world.
I found Leah. As a matter of fact, Barry Hankerson, my manager, who's her uncle, told me to go up to Detroit and hear her sing. Once I got up to Detroit, I didn't have to hear her sing because she was glowing. I knew she had it. As soon as she started singing, that verified it. And from there, we became here, and everything is all good.
Is Aaliyah your real name?
Aaliyah is my real name.
Very unique. It's nice, though.
I think it's Muslim Arabic name.
Oh, all right. Does it, I mean, do you know the meaning, or does it have a meaning?
It means the highest, most exalted one, the best.
All right. There we go. Let everybody know. Can you say it one more time so we make sure we get this?
The highest, most exalted one, right?
The best, yes.
The best.
Right.
Get it, y'all.
Joining us now is Asante McGee. She lived with R.Kelly in 2016 and now accuses him of abusing her. And first and foremost, when we spoke to you back in 2019, you said that you were literally terrified when you saw that interview that he did with Gayle King. You say that you faced backlash because you did speak out. What has life been like for you since you went public with your story?
In the beginning, I did receive a lot of backlash. Till today, I still receive backlash, but I don't receive as much as I've done in the beginning. So I do believe this is a different time for him, simply because of social media and then so many women coming forward and having so much more evidence than it was back in 2008.
What do you say to people who believe, as you used to, that because Robert has not been convicted of any crimes, that the accusations can't be true?
I had to learn that, I guess, for me, when I didn't believe the accusation was true back in 2008, because I couldn't believe that a juror would actually acquit him if they had so much evidence. But now actually experiencing it and knowing that it's not enough money in the world to get him off this case like he was able to get off the first case.
And one of the things that you've said is that it's easy for somebody to say that they would never let a man mistreat them or abuse them. But it's hard to leave when you don't recognize the early warning signs. Can you explain that for our viewers?
In the beginning, I was actually in an abusive marital situation. And so when I actually started dating Robert, and living with him is when I started seeing the abuse, and because I was able to recognize the abuse sooner than later, I was able to escape. So for a woman, we might think it's grooming us, but when you have already been aware of a previous abusive relationship, then you start recognizing the symptoms a little earlier to just get out and not tolerate it.
But he continues to deny all of these allegations. Do you see a world in which perhaps he may admit to any of the accusations against him?
Knowing the Robert that I've been knowing for a while, he would never admit because he sees no wrong in what he's done to us. But hopefully sooner than later, he will get the help that he needs. And soon, once he get the help, be able to recognize the hurt that he has caused, not only just me, but other women in the past.
testimony. For the first time, we heard from a man in R. Kelly's sex trafficking case who claims that the R&B singer sexually abused him when he was underage. We also heard from a fourth female accuser who said that R. Kelly raped her backstage at a concert in Miami in 1992 after the singer allegedly had married Aaliyah just 2 days prior. We heard for the first time from a man who says he's a victim in R. Kelly's sex trafficking case. Lewis, as he's being referred to, told the jury he was just 17 years old when R. Kelly lured him to his Chicago area home with false hopes of helping his music career. The two met in 2006 when Lewis was a senior in high school, working at a McDonald's drive-thru in Chicago. The singer gave Lewis his phone number. Lewis said his mother eventually called Kelly, hoping the R&B star could help her son become a rapper. Kelly then invited the family to a party at his Chicago mansion. Lewis testified he and Kelly took a picture together at the party, and Kelly whispered he should come to the house next time alone. Lewis started going to the artist's music studio to record and to get feedback. Lewis told jurors on one occasion Kelly crawled up to him and began performing sexual acts on him. Lewis said he felt uncomfortable, and Kelly asked to keep the acts a secret. Lewis also told of a time Kelly snapped his fingers and a young naked lady crawled out from underneath a boxing ring in Kelly's garage, and she performed sexual acts on both of them. Lewis said he kept seeing Kelly because he wanted to make it in the music industry, and even brought friends to the parties, including a 16-year-old boy who he said began having sexual encounters with Kelly. It's unclear how long Lewis and Kelly's sexual relationship lasted, but they were in contact until 2018. Lewis is now 32 years old. We also heard from a fourth woman who said she was just 17 years old when she met R. Kelly at a concert. When she told Kelly she was an aspiring artist and her age, she said the singer had his associates clear out the dressing room and began playing a game called Who Could Kiss Better. Kelly then got more aggressive, unzipped her clothes, raped her without a condom. R.Kelly has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
The victims that were testifying being scared and ashamed. And this is something that's common when we have sexual assault cases, especially when you have young people that have been sexually abused. There's this whole element, and with Lewis, where we're talking about homosexual behavior, that doesn't necessarily mean that either party is actually a homosexual, but they've engaged in this behavior. Sexual assault like this is typically about power and control. And hopefully they're going to have a psychologist on at some point to explain all of that to the jury that may be confused as to why R. Kelly was acting in the way that he did. But when we have victims like this that are testifying, there's all of these other things that they bring into the courtroom while they're testifying, including an embarrassment or being afraid about talking about acts that they may have engaged in that were homosexual, that were forced upon them, or that they didn't stop or deny. And that includes behavior that may be inappropriate, like drinking or using drugs. And oftentimes this is part of what people will do that are predators to try and cover up their actions and make it fearful for their victims to come forward. Things like implied consent because they didn't testify or protest or tell their parents or authorities when it happens. And these are some of the justifications as to why you see testimony so many years later. Only if they're able to show that Lewis and these other victims were acting as fans and independently, and that they wanted to do these things versus R. Kelly forcing them to do those things. And let me qualify that by saying, even if they did, it's still statutory rape. It's still illegal behavior because of the age. But I think what they're laying a foundation for to make an argument about is challenging the power differential based on the authority of a celebrity trying to influence someone's career, and even the age differential of trying to influence someone who is so much younger than you. Their real only pathway is to try and identify all of these victims as fans and not victims.